Now, until Shari Marks had named the three people who've been described as the mean girls today, all we knew was that Kimberley Kitching was under pressure to retain her job. Now, we all know that allegedly a lot more was swirling around in the background, which would have put her under much more pressure. This is not just about the fragility of her Senate job. We all have job insecurity issues. This is about the theft of her chosen bill on human rights. This is about colleagues cheating on her. It's about being humiliated because she dared to save Brittany Higgins from being used by Labor politically. And it's about being repeatedly bullied. Let's not underestimate what's going on here. All the things that those three women have claimed to consistently frown upon. Well, now we've heard how she felt, thanks to the honesty of Labor Senator Michael Danby, who was one of her closest confidants. I say one, because right now you're about to hear from another senator, someone who was also very privy to how Kimberley Kitching felt. In fact, Pauline Hanson had many conversations with Kimberley about the way she was being treated by her colleagues, by Wong, Keneally and Gallagher. She joins me now. Pauline, thank you so much for your time.
Hello, Chris. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Up until today, we all thought that there may have been a disagreement, maybe with head office, about her role as a Labor senator. But tell me, you had private conversations with her about how she was being treated by her colleagues. Did you ever hear her say mean girls?
No, she never used the word mean girl. She said she was bullied by them. She was... Let me just tell to your viewers, I've got nothing to gain from this whatsoever. I'm not Liberal. I'm not a Labor. I'm just a friend of Kimberley's. I was a friend of Kimberley's. Kimberley and I got on very well when we went together to Afghanistan in 2018. We formed a friendship from that period of time. She came up to my office. We had trouble meeting each other, and then they'd put it in the diary nearly every day at 3 o'clock. Kimberley Kitching would be in my office to have a cup of tea when she could get there. Times we couldn't. We became so in such a way that we could talk about things. Kimberley knew she could tell me things and it wouldn't go any further than that. She had respect for me as I did for her. She came up times and she was terribly frustrated, the way that she was treated. She was locked out of meetings. They wouldn't include her in anything. She was frustrated with it, the policy that she tried to put before the party. She was frustrated at policies that I put up, why the Labor Party would not support them. And she tried to fight for issues that she thought was right for the country and the people. But she was always just downtrodden, especially by Penny Wong and Christine Keneally. Now, I mentioned this over a week ago. Before Shari Markson's article came out, I spoke of those two names last week on Ray Hadley's program, before anyone ever mentioned their names, because this is what she told me. Kimberley told me. And it's a shame because, Penny Wong said today, well, I don't know if I can go to the funeral. I've actually got something happening up in the Northern Territory. I just came down here to South Australia. And I've got the state elections on Saturday, which is very important to me, and I've got candidates standing in the state election in South Australia. I'd never booked my ticket to come down here till I knew when the funeral was going to be. If it was going to be Thursday and Friday, I wasn't going to come here to South Australia, because it's more important to me to want to be there for Kimberley. And that tells me a lot about Penny Wong. She's more interested in going to the Northern Territory to do something with the Aboriginals. And that's more important. She said, we've lost one of our own from the Labor Party family. Well, that doesn't sound like it to me.
It sounds very strange, Pauline, doesn't it, that she goes, it's on in Melbourne. She goes as far away as possible. She was Kimberley Kitching's immediate boss, you could possibly describe it as. Why wouldn't she be the first one to turn up to the funeral?
Because she knows damn well, because those Labor, the ones on Labor benches, Danby and the other ones, well, guess what? She won't be well received. That's why she's using it as an excuse to go up to the Northern Territory. Yes, it's been a shock. We've all been shocked by Kimberley's death, by all means. But if she turns up at that funeral, I'm sorry to say, she'd be nothing but a bloody hypocrite. She's a nasty piece of work, as far as I'm concerned. She's spoken to me basically once, maybe twice in the floor of Parliament for 6 years. And guess what? Labor needs my vote to get anything passed on the floor of Parliament with the Greens and the other crossbench. But no, she doesn't bother talking to me. It's going to be a very feisty Parliament if she actually ends up as leader of that House on the government side and has to deal with me, because I won't cop anything from Penny Wong whatsoever, and she's never bothered to take the time to actually come and talk to me. But that's the type of person she is. Keneally's no better either.
Can I ask you this, Pauline? What did Kimberley say about Christina Keneally to you?
Well, she accused her of texting to Linda Reynolds, and she said, I never did. She said, I just happened to ask the question. And she said, then I got accused of disloyalty. She said, she said, I never had anything to do with that. And that upset her because, you know, she's been truthful and honest with them. They wouldn't accept what she said. They accused her. And, you know, by the sounds of it, what Kimberley told me, it was bullying. And for Albanese, he's another one. He stands there and says, oh, you can't say that. That's, you know, that's disrespectful. Well, God, you can have a go at the men over the years and call them misogynists and every other name that you want to because they're men. Well, I tell you what, there are women out there who are bullies, truly bullies. But we cover it up. We can't say that because they're women. Politics is a tough game, Chris, and I've always said that. It is tough. And, you know, you have to cop it along the way as well. But from her own party, from people that she's supposed to work with, and I'll tell you another thing. She told me they didn't want her in the Senate position. They were doing everything they possibly could, especially Wong and Keneally, to actually stop her from getting that Senate position in Victoria. But Kimberley had the support of those Labor members in Victoria.
Yep.
They loved her. And that's where they were coming unstuck.
And tell me
so
this.
it was either a big push, yeah.
Tell me this last thing. Apart from Albanese's fake sexist outrage today, which would have made Kimberley extremely upset, how upset would she get when she described these events to you?
Look, she wouldn't. She's a strong woman. Right. She wouldn't go into a bunch of tears or anything like that. I think she was just unloading, you know, to have a friend that she spoke to, and she'd come up there and we'd do what we can, and then her staff be on the line and said, you've got to get down here, you've got a meeting or whatever happening. And usually every time that she'd left, she'd give me a big hug and she said, I love you.
Oh.
And, you know, it was just, that's the type of person she was. I couldn't understand why they couldn't get on with her. Is it the politics are split within your own party? She was I had so much respect for her as a member of Parliament, the work that she did, the research that she did in those Senate estimates. She was excellent. Yeah. They've lost a bloody good senator. Australia and Victoria have lost a very good senator.
She didn't deserve any of that. Pauline Hanson, thank you so much for your honesty and being so frank. Thank you for your time too.
My pleasure. Thanks, Chris.
Right, there you go. Just reiterating, Senator Gallagher has said today that assertions about her are not true. Senator Wong does not agree with the assertions either in the Australian article, and Senator Keneally has so far not commented.